Hi everyone, it's Norman Kochenek here from Eyes on Cricket with my new Rabbitohs hat. So my new Rabbitohs hat, and we've got a lot to talk about. Have a look. Arno Jingle saying naughty Norman, no, not Norman, not naughty at all, because this is going to be the second T20 international between India and New Zealand. We'll have quite a bit to talk about there. Of course, the captaincy of Australia is under some horrific turmoil with the resignation from captaincy of Tim Paine and Ayush Chad. This is very depressed. We're really shocked. Well, I shouldn't say it's not a matter of being shocked. The timing is pretty poor for the couple of weeks out from the first delivery of the Ashes series. Obviously, with Tim Paine saying he's not captaining, he'll be playing, so at least the keeping arrangements will be sorted. Pat Cummins is the vice captain. You would imagine that he will step up to be captain. I would assume that's what they're going to do. Maybe an interim captain rather than a long-term captain. A lot of the discussion I've already had is around people such as Labuschagne, which is a complete mistake. He's not captain at any level of cricket, so thrusting him into the Australian captaincy would be absurd, I think. Steve Smith won't return. I don't think he will captain either. That leaves a few other choices, such as, in my opinion, Usman Khawaja. Now, if he's selected in the team, so he's in the team itself with Tim Paine as well, they wouldn't need to make any team changes. Usman Khawaja captained Queensland to the Sheffield Shield last season, done a very good job. So there's no reason why he couldn't have given the Australian captains. That would be my pick. Or go left field. Well, not really left field, but for someone like Aaron Finch, who has just captained brilliantly at the T20 International, as in the World Cup in Dubai. So he would also be a choice that I would like. He's got the team on his side. Would certainly be a player that you could pick as well. Would you have Tim Paine on the side? Well, Josh Inglis has been waiting in the wings there, the young bloke. He, to me, would be a great selection as well. That means Paine would have to be dropped altogether. So I've just lost a subscriber of that or something. Yeah, all right. 19,935, that's 19,936. So if Paine has decided to step down from captaincy, will he still play? Well, that's the question. It looks like he will. It seems to be the word at the moment that he will be captain. Not be captain, but he'll be in the side. It's a bit of a mystery, that one, but anyway, he's still saying he's available for selection. So that's what the question is, whether he'll effectively be, in the side. Daryl Brunman. Okay, so that's probably a decision that will probably lie in the hands with the selectors, but you would have to think that there's not much doubt that Cummins would have to be the person that I would select in the side, at least in the short term. He's there now, he's vice captain, so that would be my selection. But if it's not, it's Usman Khawaja who's my captain. Waiting in the wings, Smith, no. Labuschagne, no. You have people such as Aaron Finch, as I've said, who's not in the squad. And in the future, Curtis Pattinson, who's captaining New South Wales, also doing a great job, could be considered because his batting is also up to scratch. Then a longer-term thought, who's been the Australian under-19 captain, is in fact Jason Sanger from New South Wales. So there's quite a few. Jason Sanger, Curtis Patterson, Usman Khawaja, who's in the squad now, definitely. Aaron Finch, Pat Cummins, of course, currently. Tim Payne no longer. Smith shouldn't return. It's retrograde, I should say, step. And the other player, of course, is Labuschagne hasn't captained at any level. So that would be asinine to bring him in. Yeah, so it looks as though that's what the situation will be. So, yeah, all to be seen, all to be heard. We'll see more. It hasn't fully played out yet. But that's the Australian situation for you. Clearly, we have a situation here. We've got a change of guard, of course, with Virat Kohli not playing in the T20 series. You'll have Rohit Sharma as captain, with Rahul Dravid as now the coach, having replaced Shastri. Sharma replacing Kohli. Rahul's there as well as deputising. You have a lot going on there regarding, people such as, there's quite a few other changes that may occur over time, but I think the main thing is a lot going on there regarding, people such as, I think again, Cummins is probably going to be the incumbent because he's vice captain. Labuschagne Smith to one side. Go back to Khawaja, who's now in the squad and likely to be in the side. And second to that would be Aaron Finch being brought into the squad, which would be a move that probably isn't going to happen in the short term. It could be a long-term thing. Curtis Patterson and Jason Sanger out on the wings looking to get in. Could easily be captain, I think. And why not? Yeah, so the interview was Tim Payne, Sports Keita put it up. Don't copy videos and put it up if you haven't got the rights to do it. It's really annoying. I don't like when stations do that. Some of them are doing it. Yeah, so wait and see. Hopefully we'll get somebody joining me soon. I've let them everybody know. It's kind of a disappointing day regarding Australian cricket. We'll move on from that very shortly, but okay. Trying to sort out to see what's going on regarding the whole selection process. Let's just have a look here. I'm trying to get a hold of quick info to see what they say, but it's very early stages, guys. Very, very early stages. But Tim Payne won't be there for Australia. England have got Ben Stokes back. They're in a pretty buoyant mood. Joe Root's obviously there too. There's no destabilisation there. Williamson's obviously with New Zealand, even though he's out for this match. And Sharma's there. So a lot of stabilised teams other than the one that's here for Australia. Existing squad may see Cummins would be one, but I would love to see Khawaja in actually.
Hey, Norman.
How are you, Siddharth?
Recovering.
Hang on.
Still a very heavy bandage.
Oh, yes. So you've had dengue fever, haven't you? You look like you've lost some weight.
Yeah, I've had dengue fever. Plus, I just survived an accident with my wife. So,
a car accident?
Bike accident.
You both fell off?
Yes. So the car
Hence
rammed
the mark
us
on your face? Is that
no. This is a festival. We have a festival.
Oh, right.
A car rammed into us.
Oh my God! What injuries did you get from that?
I suffered heavy scrape wounds
That
on my left side of the body. This whole section, it's too graphic to be shown, so I'm not showing it. My skin has peeled off the side.
oh Jesus!
Yeah. And imagine this was just 20 kilometers per hour speed. I'm shuddering to think if I was driving at 50, 60, I think it was gone.
Curtains.
Yep, it was.
But you
So it's
didn't
been a
text
rough
anybody.
2 weeks.
So you were not texting anyone, were you?
No, no. I'm still
Okay.
operating only on one hand because it's stiff, so I just can't get both my fingers on
So you've
this.
been fully checked out, though. You're fully checked out.
Yep. Helmet ensured that there was no head injury, so that's the best part.
Now, I'm glad to see you on deck, though.
Yeah,
Dengue fever. One of the girls I know from Sri Lanka's got it as well. She's not in a good
yeah.
way.
Yep.
Her name's Gamanthi. And she's heavily. You go on a drip. Is that right?
No, if the platelet counts go way below the border count, which is the standard, then you have to get admitted and you'll have to be on drips. Luckily,
Right.
mine was just on the borderline. My platelet count had not dipped that greatly. But Norman,
How
today
long did
has
it take
been,
you to get over it?
it took me a week, at least a week,
Right.
10 days. But today it's been a very, very heavy news day, Norman. Very heavy
Oh
news
my
day.
God. Oh my God. I mean, Tim Payne.
It's
I would. I mean,
unbelievable.
I haven't followed the history. Apparently, it's been common knowledge about what happened 4 years ago. Did you know anything about it?
No, did you know
No.
anything about it? It was, I think, kept well
No, I
under
didn't know
wraps
about it
by
either.
Cricket Tasmania, I think.
Well, it was before his time. I think it was actually before the time that he was announced as captain. And look, he sent a quote unquote a dick pic, as they're calling it,
Yeah.
of himself to some woman. Now, don't forget he's married. He's got kids. It's quite embarrassing and just
It is,
all
it
round.
is. Yes.
Apparently, I'm assuming this girl has threatened to air the photographs or
Make
the
it public.
vision. Yeah. So he decided to jump on the front foot. Now,
Is it the end of Payne's career, Norman? At
I think
36,
so.
does he have a chance? I don't think so.
No, I mean, because he's been picked for the series, he claims he's available. Now, so the Australian revised squad hasn't been announced yet, but there's several permutations here.
Yeah.
Payne saying he's still available, and I think because so late in the piece and they've selected the squad, they may allow that to still continue because he was exonerated as such. But look, there's another matter about the Australian media manager at the time as well, who has disappeared. There was issues around him as well. I'm not going to talk about it in detail, but I'm wondering what happened to Tim Whitaker. He disappeared as well as being media manager. Nothing said, nothing discussed.
Yep.
There's a cloud about how he went. So I'd like someone to come on and tell me exactly what happened. But there appears to be another issue there again, and he would have been overlooking this as well. So look, what I don't like about the Tim Payne situation, he's gone out and announced that he's resigned. Fair enough, I respect that. But then he come out with this teary-eyed interview. My wife and my daughter. I'm extremely annoyed about that. That's for the cameras only. That's disgraceful. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
As did Warner when he cried, and Steve Smith when he cried with the whole thing. It's ridiculous. I mean, blind Freddie knows that they were not real tears. And here again, Payne's done the same thing. And he's best just coming out with a statement, ready and getting off, and not being this half emotional state. It really embarrassed me. So
It is.
with Tim Payne now officially not captain, quite likely to stay in the side, but if he doesn't, Josh Inglis will come in. But that's,
Not
because of the
Alex
Australian
Carey.
eight side.
Not Alex Carey. Because he
No,
too is in the squad.
he's not in the Australia squad. He's in the Australia. Is he in the Australian A squad? I think
Yes,
Josh
he
Inglis is
is.
there. I think Josh Inglis has been given a nod at this stage. That's one
Cummins.
possibility. But
Pat Cummins.
well, he's the default vice captain. It should be raised to the level of captain. But I don't think if that is the case, it'll be called caretaker, and it'll be for the first two tests. But the most logical replacement for him, if he's selected, is Usman Khawaja,
Yep.
who captained Queensland to the Sheffield Shield final last year, has played Test cricket for quite a while, some 44 tests, 8 centuries. He looks like he's back in the 11 ahead of Travis Head. Although Travis Head was sacked, I don't quite know what's going on there. So,
Yeah.
so Usman Khawaja could be the captain, and very rightfully so. Marnus Labuschagne should not even be considered because he's not captain at any level of cricket. And someone would have to be very stupid to be selecting someone who's never captained to have his first captaincy of Australia. That's just madness.
That to the Ashes. Total madness.
No, that's not going to happen. So really, it could be Usman Khawaja or Pat Cummins, one of those two. They're the lead runners. And even I've always argued Aaron Finch is worthy of being considered as well. He's not the team or squad, but he captained brilliantly for the T20 International and has got the team on side. So why wouldn't you put him in there? I think that would be a logical thing. So they're my initial thoughts, but Cummins would probably be the caretaker of the first two tests.
65 years later, a pace bowler is captaining Australia. 65
Australia's
years later.
chances have just dipped quite significantly.
You'd think so.
Well, come on, your captain's no longer captain 2 weeks out. That's a pretty serious blow.
This could bring about some serious stability in the Australian team because whether you like it or not, Norman, I think Tim Paine's elevation was in the backdrop of a storm. It has ended with a storm, if you were to look at it. When the Sandpaper Gate scandal happened, we all know that for a couple of series, Australia's culture seemed to have changed. But the ugly side of the Australians came out in the Sydney Test against India when they sledged, when they crossed the line yet again. I don't know what all was said, but that ugly side came again, and Payne seemed to lose control. Plus, he's not hit a Test century yet. I know he's come down at number 6, number 7. Payne has represented a very strange conundrum in the history of Australian cricket. Would you term him a villain? Would you term him a hero in the aftermath of Sandpaper Gate? We don't know. I think it's mixed.
So this whole texting scenario, sexting as they're calling it, happened prior to him being selected as the Australian captain, which is even more bewildering.
And
if you ask me.
If Cricket Australia had their integrity unit along with Cricket Tasmania, they have done a fantastic job in trying to keep it under the wraps. I think they've been taking lessons from the BCCI for secrecy, I think. I mean, even if the Australian media had to do an investigation, I mean, they had it under wraps. And did I hear it right, Norman, that because the ex-employee was caught in a theft, that's when it came out? I think she was caught for theft, I think. I read in one of the, I think it was in ABC, I think, that she was caught for theft, and that's how the whole situation unraveled.
Well, as I said, the media manager at the time was Tim Whitaker. He's no longer there. No one knows publicly why he left. He hasn't gone to another job. I thought he went to the ICC. He hasn't gone anywhere. That's another issue altogether. He was a young bloke who was given a huge door opening, and I'm pretty sure has been sacked as well. I have strong words. He's been sacked, and it's a sexual harassment in nature as well, which is another kettle of fish, and that's another matter that hasn't been discussed. So this whole thing is just a joke. Australia is destabilised enough. You've got your Steve Smith and David Warner camp sitting on the right who want to be given captain. Ben Horn, who's a journalist you may know, has written and got Steve Smith and a couple of young kids over at Waverley Oval looking good, talking about his pledging his captaincy. That was a mockery. That didn't go anywhere. Then all of a sudden, Ben Horn's grabbed Marnus Labuschagne, wrote a big article about it the last few days, saying he should be captain. I mean, there's something seriously wrong in Australian cricket. if we're going to a guy that's never captained anyone at any level, even junior cricket, any level of cricket, and suddenly he's our captain. Pat Cummins has been thrusted into this vice captaincy role, given one state match as captain, maybe two, and all of a sudden he's captain. That's the mistake. But the one that's got credibility are there two players. Usman Khawaja, captain Queensland in the long format, won the Sheffields against a very good New South Wales side, deserves it. Second to that, if he's in the side, which he will be. And the other is Aaron Finch, winning the T20 International ICC World Cup. The fact he's got the team love him to death. Why wouldn't you put him back in? He's played Test cricket. Maybe his form's not great, but there's no reason why he can't be put in as well. So, you know,
but Khawaja, before this whole thing, the Langer situation, until Langer stays, I don't think Khawaja can be elevated to the captaincy bit, I think. Because of what all has happened in the past.
I think you're going to find something very different about Langer, because I think Langer has learnt during the World Cup to just stand off and let the players do the decision making. He walked away, put his hands off the team, and it worked. Now, if he continues that vein, he may see that someone like Khawaja will captain. And Khawaja wouldn't be captain in Queensland if he wasn't good enough. Okay, he won the Sheffield Shield. That's like winning your RANCHI trophy or your...
No, this is like, Norman, if Usman Khawaja becomes captain, and I do hope that he does in the near future, it will once again Australia once again have an upper hand over England in the backdrop of the ongoing racism debate that is there. In England, in Yorkshire, Azim Rafiq. But I just wrote an article today, if I'll share it with you soon. Isn't it time for cricketers to be moral citizens? Because Azim Rafiq is also indulged in anti-Semitic traits. So the victim, because of his background, has done something which is unpardonable. He did apologize. Yes, at the age of 19, he did. But he too has been part of it. Begs the question.
Well, Alex Hales, of course.
Hales, yeah. Yep. Blackface. He was blackface in one particular party. And I think he named his dog, I think, Kevin. And that Steve Jibe. I mean, institutionally, I think England have a lot of soul searching to do. I mean, it's strange, isn't it, for a nation that has had so many players from the West Indies, Zimbabwe, South Africa, New Zealand, England, I mean, Australia, all come into the national team, but the county circuit is pretty racist. Pretty ironic, isn't it?
It is ironic.
Yeah.
Gurkha Gill was
just give me a minute.
Sure. Yeah, so who is this captain now? Norman Osaka. At the moment, no one is. No one's test captain. By default, Pat Cummins will assume that in a caretaker role because he's vice captain. So that's how it works at the moment. I think that they will probably stick to that. Pat Cummins will become an interim captain probably only for the first two tests. And you will see, if Khawaja's selected, you'll see Khawaja come into the frame. Again, I repeat, Steve Smith won't be in the frame. Labuschagne should certainly not be. It's just ludicrous. Ben Horns jumped on Steve Smith's position early on, failed in that discussion, and he's then said Marcus Labuschagne should be, again, failure in that thought. It certainly has been an eventful day. Usman Khawaja should be the captain. I agree, Elizabeth Johnson. Usman Khawaja should be on the basis. Look, George Bailey was interviewed. I had that on my YouTube channel, and he was asked, "Has he got a definitive yes between Travis Head and Usman Khawaja?" And he said yes. And look, it's going to be Khawaja. Khawaja's form's been great right throughout the pre-season. There was a bit of form from Head, but he fell away a bit. So it's Khawaja now. If Khawaja's got a test, enormous experience. Probably the most experienced player other than perhaps Warner and Smith in the batting department. And look, why not have him as captain?
Yep. It'll be good. I mean, somewhere Australia always known to do something pretty different. Maybe this is it. Khawaja brings that stability factor in. Leadership.
Well, he won a Sheffield Shield final in a very difficult match against New South Wales. As captain,
with all their international stars, New South Wales with all their international stars.
Oh yeah,
Hazelwood, Stark, Lyon, Cummins. Was Cummins as well? I don't think Cummins was.
But New South Wales was the strongest side on paper. But see, look, there's the two others, Curtis Patterson and Jason Sanger, who are both playing for New South Wales. Curtis Patterson's actually captain of New South Wales. I mean, Neville's there, but he's no longer captain. But yeah, there's your future captains between those two. But Usman Khawaja, I would be ecstatic if he got it. I think that'd be a great solution. That levels the playing field, as you said. That would make it a lot closer. But if they've got Cummins captain, they're going to find it very hard to win it, because that means Smith and Warner will be in his ear, and they'll become a part of the leadership group unofficially, and that's wrong, because it is really
But Norman,
wrong.
has any Australian captained the side at the age of 34, starting the captaincy? Has any Australian captain done that?
Michael Clark would have went pretty close, I think.
Clark. Okay, because Khawaja is 34, so it's going to be something very different if he does take over the captaincy mantle.
Oh, look, it has to go to Khawaja, in my opinion. You don't captain a Queensland state side and a Sheffield Shield and win it and not be given consideration.
That to beat the domestic giants, New South Wales. That to beating them in the final.
And he's played He's played 44 Test matches.
Yep.
He's not lacking, and he's almost 3,000 Test runs, and he's 8 centuries. I mean, some of them were magnificent, and especially at home. So no, I think. Look, Marcus Harris has apparently been almost anointed the opening batter, but you could easily have had Khawaja there instead of him. Anyway, I'm a little bit. What Australia have to do very quickly is announce their captain.
Yep.
They can't
Does
wait.
Head open the batting? Travis Head, has he ever opened the batting in any form?
No.
And then that's a big problem.
He was actually earmarked as a captain at one stage as well. No, but you'd have to go for the man who won the damn Sheffield Shield.
Yeah.
And has scored prolifically through the season. Travis has scored some runs early on quite nicely, but he's tapered off. Khawaja has been consistently scoring centuries. I reckon Khawaja will come in and he'll tear them apart.
Because if you have to look at both India and Australia in the domestic situation, what we have to look at it in the first class scenario, no one has ever come. The leading run scorer and the leading wicket taker have not made their presence felt in the national team for a very long time. If you have to look at it, I think the Sheffield Shield is going in that direction. I think the last guy to have made the national team, I guess, could be Pukowski and Cameron Green on the back of their sheer dominance last season in the Sheffield Shield. But again, that unfortunate concussion injury to Pukowski has just, I feel.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone now. If Marcus Harris and Khawaja play well, that's it. He's lost his chance.
I don't bet my penny on Marcus Harris doing well, but yeah, Khawaja, I just hope he does well for all what he's undergone in the last.
He's a great player. He's a sensation. Did you hear about the state game between New South Wales and Victoria? Will Sutherland has COVID-19, and they didn't play yet. They didn't play today.
Yes,
I think, but they're playing tomorrow.
Yeah,
but he's positive.
Oh boy.
But we've got 91.5% double dose in Sydney. 91.5%.
Wow. That's
crazy.
Great.
That's a great thing.
I think the case count is coming down as well every day.
Yeah, we're in a good shape.
Yeah, but I think Victoria is not in a good state, along with Queensland, I think. And Tasmania is also, I think, registered a surge.
I have to do this. This is my bit of comic relief. Excuse me, Sid. I've got to text something. I met this girl today. She's so good looking. I might just text her something. All right. I mean, how stupid is that?
Yeah, I mean,
it was when he was.
Payne is not the first one. I mean, Payne is not the first one. He'll not be the last. There's a certain Kevin Peterson bringing a smile on everybody's face when he just texted the team.
Someone like Shane Warne, Kevin Peterson, you almost, I hate to say, you shouldn't say expected, but kind of fits the bill. But Tim Payne I didn't pick him. I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's very shocking. Very shocking. I just saw the
Yes.
breaking update. What? Tim Payne has resigned when he was just announced as the captain, potentially in his last Ashes. Damn.
Lucifer Johnson's saying I should come out of retirement. No, I won't be captain. I played a fair few games as a captain. All right, now today's match between the newly appointed Rohit Sharma with the newly appointed Rahul Dravid, newly appointed KL Rahul as vice captain. It's they did very well. I was very impressed with the way that game went. In fact, New Zealand did a very good job as well. They considering they haven't got Williamson on the side.
Yeah. And I think both teams will be on an even keel because they were cruising at 23 of 24 in the first game, but then New Zealand got it to just 2 balls. So I would just say that India just got out of jail. But Norman, yet again, everybody's saying that okay, we have taken the revenge for what happened in the T20 World Cup. I mean, it is so ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Within 3 days of you playing the final, India were knocked out days earlier. You had time to come back home, enjoy the home benefits. New Zealand just came a day or two before. Of course, the test team has also been practicing there because I think they are taking the test matches to be far more important than the T20I series.
Oh, gotcha.
It's so ridiculous. The scheduling and everything else is really, really juvenile. Of course, I'll have to credit the host broadcaster for being a little bit more mature this time around with their promos. Otherwise, their promos in the previous past were downright offensive and downright ridiculous.
Now, Harshal, just now breaking news: Harshal Patel has received his cap.
Ah, good. Oh, IPL leading wicket taker this season.
Involved very well.
32 wickets with Dwayne Bravo.
And of course, the other sad thing is AB de Villiers is retired from all formats.
I think, well, more than sadness, I think what rather watered it down for me personally was that de Villiers, the conundrum that existed prior to 2019 when he announced it suddenly on a channel like, I'm tired of all this, so that's why I'm just retiring. And that the suspense and the anticipation that was there about AB de Villiers in 2019, that soured the whole thing, according to me, in my book. So it was only a matter of time before he was going to retire, anyways. But yes, what an entertainer, what a genius, what a freak.
What a lovely bloke.
Yeah, but the only damning, you may say, stain on his legacy was not winning a major ICC event. And not an IPL tournament.
But as an individual person, I mean,
yeah, as a batter, as an individual person, brilliant.
He was well when he played for Middlesex a few years ago. He was well loved there too, and look, he really is one of the nicest blokes and one of the most gifted players too. He was amazing.
Oh boy, especially in that period from 2012 to 2016, he was deadly to the hill.
When he played that World Cup match in 2015 in Australia at the
Sydney,
SCG,
right?
that was
162
absolutely.
of 66 West Indies.
I was there that day, and I don't think I've seen a better innings. Everything was perfect.
To me, more than his batting, I think the most haunting and the most defining image of ABD was 2015 semi-final Auckland. He was
India win the toss and bowl again. India won the toss again.
Yeah, and they'll bowl. Okay, that's good. So there'll be not much of dew. But Ranchi has not been such a favorable venue for India in the last couple of years. They won a test match, but they lost an ODI to Australia there in 2019. And the most defining moment for me, as I was saying, Norman, was ABD in tears, 2015 semi-final, Auckland. He was a broken but resolute man, but he wanted to win so much. Look at the team of superstars that they had: Quinton de Kock, Hashim Amla, Faf du Plessis, AB de Villiers, Monemokal, Graham, Monemokal, Stain, Philander. Then in the test match arena, you had Graham Smith. All these guys, but not a single ICC event win. It's really, really a very sad way. But salute to the genius of the batter. As a batsman, next to, I may say, freakishness.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
going
just
to
looking.
post
Even I'm
this.
also looking at the team. So get Rohit to toss and let Virat captain. That should be the way.
Well, exactly. And you got Siraj's. He was injured, I think.
Siraj
Siraj.
not. No, he's not been picked. Who he's
When
replaced?
was
I
he
think he
injured?
replaced Bhuvneshwar Kumar. There is no Bhuvi.
Is that?
Yeah, there's no Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Oh wait, there is Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Sorry, I just saw it. Yeah, no, Harshal comes in for Siraj.
Yep.
Yep, that's the only change. That's good.
Well, it's good
Yeah,
for Arsenal to tell. He deserves it. Certainly.
yeah.
I was quite impressed with the first drop. What was his name? Mark Chapman. Geez, he looked good.
Yeah, first individual to hit 250s for two different nations in T20 internationals.
Who else did he hit it for?
He played for Hong Kong at the
Oh,
start. He hit a century, he hit a 50 for Hong Kong against Oman. Now he's at a 50 for New Zealand against India.
intriguing.
Yep. And who is Martin Guptill, Daryl Mitchell, Mark Chapman, Glenn Phillips, Tim Seifert, Nisham, Sodi, Santner, Saudi, Milne, Bolt. There are three changes to the team. Oof.
Where are you reading your changes? Where are you reading that?
Craig Buzz. Craig Buzz. Because what are the three changes? Bolt was there in the previous game. Saudi was there. Chapman was there. Phillips, Seifert, Nisham. I think
They got this.
Nisham.
Now, he was there.
Nisham was there. Yeah. Strange. Then who are the three changes? I'll have to just check it out.
I'm just trying to. Okay. Anyway, the toss. That's.
Yeah.
You'd have to think. You have to think that would be in their favour.
Okay.
So
Sodi
quick
and Milk.
info.
Okay. Okay.
It's only changes. Ours would sell in for Siraj,
Yep.
and
I'm just looking at the three changes that New Zealand have made. I mean, I'm just caught up with that. Oh,
so the
yeah.
New Zealand. Okay.
Okay, I'll just see in the first match what was the New Zealand team in that. Oh, there's no Rachin Ravindra, no Todd Astle, and no Lockie Ferguson.
Wow.
No Lockie.
Here we
Oh
go.
my goodness.
Yep. So New Zealand, as you said, Guptill, Mitchell, Mark Chapman, Phillips, Seifert, Nisham, Santner, Southey, Bolt, Milne, and Sodi.
That's their full
So you're
strength team.
saying that Astle's gone, Milne's back
Rachin
in.
Ravindra is gone.
Yeah.
Rachin Ravindra and Lockie Ferguson is out. Todd Astle, Rachin Ravindra, Lockie Ferguson are out.
So Milne has come in.
Yep. Milne's replaced Ferguson. Ravindra and Astle, Sodi and Santner are back.
You're right.
Just give me a minute, Norman.
Okay. Yeah, the Indian side is pretty much the same. It's just the change of Harshal Patel in for, of course, Harsh Patel is in for Mohammad Siraj. That's the change that's there. Okay, so I'm trying to get this damn thing. Let's have a look here. Well, just give me a sec, guys. That's okay. So there's been a fair degree of change there. New Zealand look, you would argue, perhaps a little bit stronger. Okay. All right. I'm having problems with something here. Yes, I'm very serious. No, you're just trying to be funny again. All right. So the whole.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So let's just read these sides out again. I'll just do that for you.
Yep.
We'll talk about them a bit more. Now, the Indian side, of course, really has the one change, correct?
Yep. Mohammad Siraj out, Harshal Patel in.
Yep. And New Zealand. So Guptill and Mitchell were there last game. Chapman was there last game. Phillips was there last game. Seifert was there last time. Nisha was there last time. You're saying Mitchell, Santner, and Sodhi. I think
No.
they were there.
Yeah. Santner, Sodhi were there. Nisham has replaced Rachin Ravindra.
Right.
And Milne has replaced Lockie Ferguson.
And of course,
Sodhi has replaced Todd Astle.
I don't even know why they had Todd Astle in there at all, to be honest. I mean, didn't get a.
I don't know why he's not getting so many chances. I just don't know. Damn good spinner. Oh, so Mohammad Siraj, actually, it's been an injury. He suffered a split webbing. So I think
Who's
out
that?
for the. He suffered a split webbing, Mohammad Siraj. So could be out even for the third game.
Well, yes. That's not very far away.
Because a split webbing takes a lot of time to heal.
Could even be out for the test match if you're looking at that way, really.
The BCCI press release has just said that Mohammad Siraj got a web split on his left hand while fielding on his own bowling in the first T20I in Jaipur. BCCI medical team is closely monitoring his progress.
So, on the basis of the sides, the Indian side looks pretty strong.
But New Zealand have gotten their full strength squad back almost for the World Cup. This is almost the World Cup squad that we're looking at. Apart from Chapman, the rest of the guys have been in the World Cup.
That's true. Who was the player? Well, there would have been Williamson, of course.
That was Williamson, yes. That's the only change.
Yeah.
The rest of the guys have been there. Bolt, Milne, Southey, Santner, Sodhi, Seifert, Phillips, Mitchell, Guptill, all were there.
Okay, then. So, on the basis of the strength of the side, does that improve New Zealand's chances, or is it still in India's favour?
It's always India's favour. When you play here, it's always India's favour. But this does improve New Zealand's chances significantly. They're not going to go down without a fight. I mean, I'd be surprised if they have a tame surrender, but they will fight like they did in Jaipur. If only Mitchell hadn't bowled those two wides, maybe the pressure would have built enormously on India then.
Yeah, I mean, New Zealand certainly batted well, didn't they? I mean, they batted well, I thought.
Guptill
Chapman
batted
really
superbly.
impressed me.
Yep, Guptill and Chapman. Guptill, that knock in the final. Terrible. It was like Yuvraj of 2014. Sad to watch.
Magnificent. Guptill needs to be understood as being the highest level. So go back to Ross Taylor for a minute. Ross Taylor, was he under consideration for this at all?
No.
Is he tired?
I think he's not announced his retirement from any format, but maybe 2022 could be the last time we see Taylor. Yeah. Because he's the only guy to play all formats 100 games. He's won the ICC World Test Championship. He just needs an ODI World Cup one. So maybe 2023, after the World Cup, he announces his retirement because he's just got 2 years and he's 35. Maybe he may play till 37. Maybe. To become New Zealand's most decorated player ever.
I wasn't very impressed with Seifert or Phillips at all.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, they have gone through a prolonged lean patch in this format. I mean, after the end of the CPL, even in the World T20, they didn't set the stage on fire. Again, for New Zealand, the problem lay that only one or two particular individuals in the batting propped them up. It was the bowlers that did the job. That was not the case with Australia. If Warner failed, then you had Marsh. If Marsh failed, you at least had the buffer of Stoinis and Wade. The revelation, because Australia won the World T20, the one prime factor who should have been the player of the tournament was Adam Zampa.
Oh, there's no doubt. He was. I mean, I'm sorry.
I was stunned. Warner. Maybe, yes,
place
he
is good,
did bat well.
but Zampa was consistent all the way through, not just the
Indeed.
last few matches. But the Indian
Zampa was the
support,
game changer. In each and every match, he was the game changer, Adam Zampa.
Yeah, he pulled the screws back on the opposition. Look, Dave Warner is either loved or hated in India, isn't he? He's more loved.
He's loved. He's loved in India. But I don't think that is translated back in Australia, where he's got a much more mixed relationship now. I think all the current Australian cricketers, among all the current Australian cricketers, there are very few who are hated.
No.
There are very few. Unlike the previous Australian teams where maybe we didn't like Ricky Ponting that much because it was maybe arrogant attitude. They perceived him arrogant. I didn't think he was arrogant.
Yeah, look, what's being said here is that Labuschagne will make a good captain. Yash Campbell, there's no basis whatsoever that you can judge Labuschagne as a captain. He is not captain the under threes right through to adult age. He's not captain. So I'm sorry, you can't learn how to be a captain by playing for Australia. I'm sorry. So you need to.
Who was the last captain to have been just thrusted into the job without any prior experience? I think it's never happened in Australia. I think Mark Taylor, Steve Waugh, Alan Border did captain their state sides for getting to the captaincy of Australia. I think it would have been Lee Germon of New Zealand. Lee Germon in the 90s.
And if you look at the likes of even Cummins was not captain. He was thrust and he was given a state Guernsey over other players because they needed to show some evidence. So he's on tender hooks as well. Look,
there is one comment here. There's one comment here. Warner has a cult status in SRH. Smith, not so much. Payne is probably hated everywhere.
I'd argue that Payne's the best guy out of the three of them. Anyway, Barama only says, girls, Barama's got an issue. He said, need to be careful with his need a text call. Yeah, he's right. Look, the whole thing about texting, under no circumstances should any person in sport who has a high enough profile be texting anything to anyone, especially photographs of dick pics, whatever. Look,
no, but at least I appreciate the Australian way of owning up, although it was 4 years late, but they did own up. Ball tampering, because they were caught. This is important. What I'm going to stress here, they were caught. They owned up to it. This is not the case with subcontinent nations at all. You get caught in a ball tampering thing, but then you'll play the victim here. Match fixers, discipline breakers can be assimilated back into the mainstream by just coming into media shows and then just propagating their views.
So
look at the case of Shakib Al Hasan. Shakib Al Hasan is the worst offender for all these kind of things. But yet, he's a cult hero in Bangladesh.
I mean, he did the WhatsApp messages he received were out of the blue. I mean, look, I'll give him some credit. I think, he handled it pretty well.
Whoever broke that story, I mean, I think he should be credited with the Watergate of journalism in cricket. There was a theft reported, but Tim Payne got caught and he was sacked from captaincy. It's like there was a burglary at Watergate Hotel, but Richard Nixon got impeached.
Well, they can stop. I mean, the problem is there's a lot of merchandise given to players, even just to hold and I don't know. There's a real sense of destabilisation in the Australian camp. I'll tell you now. As I've made clear earlier, the Warner when we had, Smith saying, "Oh, I'm pledging him next captain," it was a crock. Now Ben Horn, the journalist, has gone behind Labuschagne saying he's been completely wrong. So is Warner's out of the question. It really comes down to experience, and that is Khawaja, perhaps Curtis Patterson even made the side, and Pat Cummins is certainly not experienced, but give him a go the first two test matches.
Do you think Cricket Australia will change their policy of saying that, okay, Dave, what has happened has happened. Show up with your performances. We will consider you for captaincy next year. Will they ever do that, Cricket Australia?
I seriously doubt it.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got some 10. The game starts at 12. Well,
7.
10 minutes time.
Yep. Predictions, New Zealand. I think there's one more comment. There was a Pakistani player who was involved in a similar scandal. Was it Babar or Rizwan? It was Babar Azam. That the female even went to court, but then she turned hostile and then said no, he hadn't done anything of that kind. So this is the problem in the subcontinent. I mean, people can be hostile whenever they want to. Players are so powerful here. I mean, imagine if somebody, even people in India, if they can pass off a casteist slur, they'll not get criticized. They won't be thrown away from the team. They'll just be given a notice. Why did you do it? 2-3 days of fury, that's it. Finished.
But I've noticed that Kohli, if you look at the body language of anything to do with teams, he's left out a fair bit. Even though he's played the IPL, the ODIs, he's left. He's separate. He doesn't spend time with the Indian players in the dressing rooms like a lot of other players did. There's something.
Yeah, I think
Kohli's lost the room.
Because now I think he had Ravi Shastri as his guy whom he had a tuning with. With Dravid, it'll be a bit difficult because Dravid is a very quiet guy and he's very calculating in what he wants to do. With Kumble, he just didn't get along because I think there was too much of discipline, too much of all these kind of things which didn't gel with him. So I think Kohli now will slowly fade into the background. Slowly, but because now even he's, whether you like it or not, Norman, age has even caught up with Virat Kohli. He's 33. He probably has 4 to 5 years of cricket left. And we all have to admit the fact that the Kohli that we saw from 2012 to 2017 may not happen. It'll happen in patches now. It won't be with that staggering level of consistency.
Oh boy, we're going to lose these two New Zealand bowlers effectively. They're going to be now in the dressing room doing their bit to help out there as one of the, the buggy boys, so to speak.
And again, I'll be interested to see in the first over of the India chase whether Rohit Sharma takes strike to Trent Bolt. That was a big issue in the World Cup. In a bilateral series, suddenly you become Lions and then say, left arm swing doesn't bother me. But in the World Cup, when Shaheen Afridi knocked you over, you didn't want to face Trent Bolt. That too on a Dubai wicket. What's going on with the Indian think tank? Sometimes I just don't know. It's really, really a huge conundrum.
They've been very disappointing in the World Cup. They were very disappointing, and they're disappointing now in the series. It's very frustrating.
Yep. Maybe they will continue to be ODI giants and bilateral giants, but in ICC they'll just not raise their A game. Maybe.
Oh God. So
Norman, I have to leave. I just have to do one particular ritual.
Okay, you have to leave. Thank you for joining me. We've got 5 minutes before the match starts. So
yep. My prediction: India is going to win. Home conditions, bilateral giants, it's a given. India will win. But New Zealand will give a fight. They will give a fight.
I agree. Thanks. Thanks.
And I hope that the Australian situation improves. I want to see Australia beat England. In Ashes contests, ever since I started following cricket, I have not had any reason to support the Poms. Never. It's always been Australia. So that's why 2011 was a whitewashed year for me. I think that was from 2009 to 2013. I've just whitewashed those years because I just don't believe in it. Yep. So I just hope that Australia turns up and not to use any obscene language, but just blasts the bombs out.
So what's his name? I've got the help of a few people to get some more, hopefully some interviews post-match too from around the traps. Yeah, we'll see how we go. All right. Yep. Well, thanks for your time, Sid.
Anytime, Norman. Anytime. Bye-bye.
Be careful. Take care.
Of course. Yes, I am. Bye, Norman. Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
It was great having Siddharth Vishwanathan here, despite having dengue fever and also being involved in a motorcycle accident earlier today. He seemed to be in the wars, but I'm in the wars with my hernia, but he's in the wars all the time, the poor bugger. So he's been great, very articulate, very knowledgeable, asked very good questions, and has certainly impressed all those around him. Yeah, so we're almost ready to rock and roll on Ranchi, as we're saying. The fact is that we've seen Mohammad Siraj get replaced by a magnificent new player in terms of certainly ability, not necessarily responsibility. And let's have a look at the stories there. It's good to see Harsh Patel certainly getting a go. The Iyer brothers. No, it's a great debut for in this format for our man there, who's played particularly well. Amazing player, actually. Jason Sanger's the future as well. He'll be back in the squad at some stage. And then you'll have a number of other players. But let's just go back to the news side here. We've got, let's have a look. So India chose to bowl. Guptill, Mitchell, Philip Seifert, Neesham, Sander, Milne, Southey, Sodium, Bolt. Yeah, looking pretty promising. You'd have to wonder about the people we saw today. We saw a lot of people deal with television sets. Sorry, with the automatic chair of what Don Lane and his group use. It's quite amazing, actually. All right, so New Zealand in that again. Guptill and Mitchell have been there before. They're very important to steer the ship. Okay. Sehwag has shown here a test match can be won by bashing the bowlers. Batsmen nowadays are cowards to develop Philly style. No, I'm not coward. They're water with oysters, so do his own thing. Graces should be brushed under the carpet at all, and they're looking to address that. A fair bit of signage about it. Any complaints, we can go and talk to the board by ringing the local number. It's all possibly there. It's all there. Just saying that. So not having the services of Tim Payne as captain, we'll hopefully still see him on the side. The only real change to the squad will be that there'll be no changes actually, but the person to come will be Harsh Patel for sure. Very disappointing, though. Very, very disappointing. Yeah, so 3:30, is it? All right. I'm just losing that. There seems to be some conflict there. We have a casteism and racism are always brushed under the carpet or the rug here in India. They are. The caste system is certainly there in India, and the hierarchical system is there. And we've got to start to consider, as we said, more caliber of player rather than race or creed or nationality or area where they work. But I said, don't get almost copying Shobakhtar. Why am I copying Shobakhtar? Norman toss happened half an hour ago. I know it did. By Norman, or what do you mean? We're waiting for the game's actually starting now, by the way, listeners. So we'll be starting the game very, very shortly. Let's have a look. Just trying to work out what's gone wrong with. So there's been a few changes in New Zealand side, certainly. Probably too many. Anyway, they're on the 6-5 pay TM. It's the sponsor, of course. This game is about to start. Let's play. And Kumar said, there's an edge immediately there from Guptill, but it's gone for 4. Big fat edge. A bit of a giggle there, but it doesn't deserve that. Well, Robert Sharma, 1-2 tosses in a row. So whatever happened to Gary Balance case, needs to be feigning ignorance now. Well, with Alex Hales, with the whole Yorkshire Cricket Club, like Gary Balance, there's a fair bit of evidence, there's a fair bit of prejudice and racism in English cricket. But it shouldn't be singled out as the only spot. It happens a lot more in other countries as well. Oops. Ball's gone to the boundary, but it wasn't where the shot was intended. England Twitter blew up after the race and denying racism. They went on the racism. Maybe them poems. Yeah, there's always been that going on. Lack of understanding, really, isn't it? Just going to put some things aside here, guys. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar has been amazing. Really has been. He's been a revelation for India again. Guptill's teeing off here. All dropped for Rahul. The ball very well slanted him. Kuma is talking to Dominic Cork about the positioning of his hand when he bowls. Guptill's gone again. We hit another 4. Guptill's of a mindset to go for it, eh? Guptill, Mitchell, Chapman, Phillips, Seifert, Neesham comes in. Santner, Milne, Southey, Sordy, and Boss. No Williamson. It's distinct, isn't it? Kuma's action is amazing. Nice first over for New Zealand. It certainly has, well, for New Zealand's batting, yes. This RANCHI ground is full of very big stands. So, okay. Harsh Patel has come in. Jimmy Neesham, Milne, and Sordy are back in with Astle, Lockie Ferguson, and of course, Neesham came in for who was it? Who were replacing him? So Milne came in for Lockie Ferguson, Sordy came in for Astle, and Neesham's come in for middle order batsman. I'm trying to think who it was. But Williamson's still out as well, don't forget. The spin bowler, was it? Maybe. No, there's Mitchell played a very good shot. Yeah, so Rohit Sharma certainly has more luck than Kohli, but I'm sure it's because he consistently is tossing in a certain way. I think I should be back at the same position as he was with Koko. Yeah, I mean, they opened, didn't he? He was opener. Karen V. Why is all second batting teams won? Because of the conditions. The dew factor, they had the ability to gauge their innings better. Certainly. Mitchell's starting to get on the act here. New Zealand batted well last game too, don't forget. But still effective. Why? Yeah, it's. So this is the second over. No, actually, Deepak Chahar is on now. So you had Bhuvik Moy, then you've had Deepak Chahar now. We had, who was the third bowler there? Let's have a look here. Should India look to defend totals from now on? No, you don't. No, we're not to see the experiment. They play what they needed to win the match. They don't try to experiment and see whether they can handle their other conditions. No, that's not right. I don't agree with that. Okay. So Guptill is 15 not out, and Axel Patel's come on the bowl. Hello, Simon Alashi. How are you? Yes, De Villiers has taken retirement, which means he won't be a part of any further World Cups either. This weird looking super stopper there. Not sure it does any good, really. Okay, it's not necessarily if India will win this toss and knockout. These games are the same as this. Well, I thought about United States of America hosting it. I think it's fantastic. Well, they're doing it in conjunction with the West Indies. It's fantastic. Oh boy. Axel Patel is a good bowler. Is underrated by a lot of teams. He's very good. Mitchell looks quite pensive, quite determined. There we go. So Martin Guptill scored 3-2-3-6. Virat Kohli 3-2-2-7-7. Martin Guptill's gone past Kohli. Bolt Sharma's third with 3-0-8-6. Sure, I can get a hold of this one. See if we can get a hold of it. It's not working. It's hard to do that. Not now. What is this? So, New Zealand throws 168. That's pretty good. Most stats. All records. Game records. Okay, so Guptill's on 3-2-3-3. Colley's on 3-2-2-7. Sharma's on 3-0-8-6. And Finch is 2006. Sterling, Warner, Buzzer, Muhammad Aziz, Sharma. India A and Indian B 1910 for Triangle Series has been announced. Okay. Samantha Washi attached to the questions, the comments. Concation. It's concation. That's right, it says Islam. You had Ferguson, RANCHI, and Todd. Yeah, it's sad to see Kyle to see De Villiers retired for sure. A lot to be said there. Very frustrating. That is on. Yeah, so that's correct. Your answer is correct there. It's hard to see the score. It's not really clear what the score is. It's a bit hazy there, actually. New Zealand are none for 36 off 3.2. Up to 25, not out after 13 deliveries, and Mitchell looks like 10 or 11. 10 off 7. Yes, so Guptill is the one. Coley 2, Sharma 3, 4 Finch, Sterling 5, 6 is Warner, 7 is Bobbin, Hafiz is 8, Shamalik is 9, and then Owen Morgan is 10. So again, let's look at Guptill, Coley, Sharma, So Guptill, Coley, Sharma, Finch, Sterling, Warner at 6, Borism 7, Hafiz 8, Sean Malik 9, and Owen Morgan at 10. So you got Guptill now on 25. I'm sure that's going to increase his numbers here now too. There he's gone 3-2-4-2. Coley's played less matches. He scored 29 50s, but no hundreds, whereas Guptill scored 2 centuries. Yeah, so Driver's sitting there with the batting coach. Certainly, I rotating the bowls around well. They've got Bueshma's got 2, Jahar's got 1, Axel's got 1. When will be the next World Test Championship held? 4 years, so it was early this year. It will be in 2025. It's well off. The T10 Ligas, it's hit and miss, slap and tickle. I'm not appreciative. From the Ashes, I guess. What do you mean? Says when will the next? It'll be 2025, early 2025. Guptill is 31, Mitchell is 16, and the score's done for 48. Harshal Patel's certainly only spot. Well, looks like Guptill's gone. He's got 1 too many, 31 he got. Extremely high. Here it is. Here's the ball. Oh, I don't know what he was trying to do. Yes, wicket there. Yeah, Guptill getting out for 31 is not a good thing for New Zealand. No Williamson, Guptill gone. It's a good drop. Okay, much better now. A lot of dew already. This bodes well for India. It does. I'm excited for the test match. My man, I'm having a beer. No, it wasn't actually a beer. It was apple juice. And these flags waving quite profusely there. Mitchell got a big inning so far. Chapman's not faced a ball. $7.06. Mark Chapman. Well, we played for Hong Kong apparently. Well, that's interesting. Go have a lager normally. Go no girly drink. Angel wings I can't drink. It's not my nature. I can, but I won't. India win this, it's over. At least the series. Chapman's got the ball through. He hasn't exactly played a good shot. Short ball and clobbered. So Bannister boy, you haven't missed that at all. It's not decided yet. It'll still probably be Pat Cummings for the moment, and if Usman Khawaja is inside, it may well be him. If looking at the actual squad they have now. So New Zealand 156. Pat Cummins will be he may be the interim captain, yes. Payne left captaincy, yes, we know that. Chahar got wicket, but always so go there. Don't get me started about Pui. That shit has sailed, yes, already. Okay, it totally deserves it. So 156 on 5 overs, a pretty good run rate. Over 10, it could be looking down the barrel if they keep going at 200. Ashwin's coming in the bowl. He's played 51 matches for 60 wickets. It could be very interesting. Ashes, they've got Reg Vernon there. We've got Reg Vernon there 1 minute, and then Barnstead Boy. So Barnstead Boy and Reg Vernon, which one's that's not the real Reg Vernon, is it? The Barnstead Boy is Barnstead Boy. This Chapman's name is playing pretty well. You changed your name. I don't know, Reg. Is it you? Is the other Barnstead Boy? Is that you, or you just changed your name? All right, it's been an hour and 30 minutes, guys. It's going along smoothly here. You'd have to think that, well, India should win this. Based on the form that I'm seeing. I'll just put there. What do you think about Payne disgraceful actor? It's pretty more. It's not something disgraceful. So the Bunnies cap. Yes, it's the new 2022 Bunnies cap. Just come out today. I received it today in the mail. Don't start with Payne. Oh, okay. Answer boy is now Reg. Okay, we got that. We got that. Oh, guys, I'm just going to put something away for a minute and come back. Hang on a sec. Bear with me a sec. So I just mantle things here. So feeling a bit sorry for Payne again. The media play God. Well, yes, they do. So yeah, well, it's disappointing to say the least. All round. Live scores. Which you shouldn't be feeling a bit sorry for him because is there one to behind, yeah. All right. 164, we've got Mark Chapman 11, Mitchell on 21. Whereas Williamson is injured. Well, he's been rested. Might go over 180 exactly. Actually, I think it deserves to go over 180. 64 6 overs. It's on par for 200 actually. Why is Amber on a master squad? Should have been in place line right now. Well, he's not going to place line, but I do think he was second line behind Swepson, but in front of Swepson, but for some reason he's not been given a berth over him. So it seems like Mitchell Swepson is meant to be the replacement or the backup spinner to line. And of course, you've got Ashnagar there as well. And really, you should have been Zampa in before all those, I agree. All right. Came for first test match. No, he's not. He's just not ready to play. He just wasn't up to it, I guess. All right, guys. I think we might. Without asking questions, we'll look at the score as it stands. There's 1 for 64. 1 for 60. Well, it's gone beyond that now, I think. With Chapman and Mitchell there, obviously got to go out to a poor shot. But please, Norman, purchase a proper mic instead of using phones and microphone. Why? Can't you hear me? Zampa is an underrated bowler, absolutely. Can't you hear me? Is that what you're saying, Harsh? Tell me now. Can you hear me or not? What's the statistics coming through? What kind of match I am going? Okay, that's the third one. I'm good. Produce that, right? You can talk to us from there. Maybe I can cross to you. Harshal with a first over in international cricket. Okay. Well, let's just let's do a bit of homework here, guys. I'm trying to bring the computer here. I want to make sure that the computer actually has the right positioning here. Let me just have a look here, guys. Doing some fun. There we have it. All right, I'm back, guys. I can hear you, but a proper microphone has a lot of features. Okay. Okay. How much do you make from YouTube? Just asking, because I'm also aspiring through YouTube. Shrikant Argyle, it's not that easy. You just don't start up. You've got to be monetized. Monetized on a YouTube channel, you need 1,000 subscribers. You also need 4,000 hours worth of viewing. Now I've got about 120,000. I've got close to 20,000. So the thing is, you need to have 1,000 subscribers, and you need anywhere up to 4,000 hours of viewing, and then you become monetized. Then you can have a subscription component, you can have a members component, you can have a community page, you can share other channels' work, you can advertise. What am I doing now? I'm just changing a few things around. So the AB de Villiers' retirement has been one of great length in terms of his career Didn't win that many finals. South Africa were never really strong when he was in the team. I mean, he made the team strong with Umla in particular, and later on de Kock and the like, and the Plessis, but they really lacked a team that were consistent throughout the World Champs. They often choked in semi-finals. But as a player, Abby de Villiers was second to none. It was amazing. So how much do you make from YouTube? Shrikant Agarwal, again, 1,000 subscribers to be monetized in combination with 4,000 hours of viewing. I've got 120,000 hours of viewing, and I've also got 20,000 subscribers. So there you go. Who is the next Captain Harshcombe? To this point, we don't know. We only can assume by default that Cummins will be the next captain. But there's a chance that Kawaja could come in if he's in the team. He might be also in there as a captain in the captaincy group. Aaron Finch, I think, will be a bolter, but he's not at this point. If Tim Payne does decide to, or not be, if he's not selected, which he has already been selected as a player, then he will keep. And the only Josh Inglis is the only other possibility that may come in to keep. Then as far as no, Smith's not going to captain Australia. It's not bloody obvious. Smith is not going to be captaining Australia. It's going to be either Pat Cummins or Kawaja will come in. Smith is not going to be given the captaincy back, I can assure you. Unless it's some knee-jerk reaction, it'll be a caretaker mode at best, and it'll be under Cummins. What do you think about Team India going back to Ashwin? Will he be there? That's not the end of Chahal Kohli, maybe, but Chahal, no. Could be Wade. What, as captain? I don't think so. Or keep it. It'll be Inglis in there. We love Matthew Wade. Go on your Reg. You can love him as much as you like. He did well in the short format, yes, but he's not a long format player. Well, he was, and he got dropped, as did Travis Head. Travis Head made his way back in, or won't be captain, under no circumstances. Wade's not in the squad, exactly. Have I ever been to India? Yes, I have been to India, Shrikant. Well, absolutely, I've been to India. Many times, probably 20 times. You don't rate bowler captains very highly, do I? No, I don't. Not many teams in the world have it. Southie's currently the T20I captain, but it's only temporarily in place of Williamson. Hi, Pratim Natmesh. How are you? Where are you people joining all of a sudden? I'm going to go into a room with a bit less light. Oops. I'm just going to make myself out in another room here. It's just not one of those days that oops. I'm just going to go trying to get a bit of position here. There's movement at the station, guys. I'm not going to last long. I don't get my gear. So. All right. Here we go. Let's see if we can work with this. I'm trying to get a hold of a few things. Sorry, guys. Trying to get in a position where I can be a bit more relaxed. Hang on. Okay, so let's get this whole thing going, guys. One for 75, and there's no Williamson there. This is amazing. And again, we've got some great batting from. I'll turn that light on there. That's better. Let's go on here. Okay. I'm a bit more relaxed today. Okay, so with Chapman on 21 and Mitchell on 26, Chapman hasn't wasted any time at all. The score's 1 for 79 off 8.4 overs. Basically going to be pushing 200. That's going to really test India and their batting. What cricket bat do I have? Harsh Gupta, you're asking these random, strange questions. I have many bats. I have Spartan bats, which I still think one of the best bats ever made. I've got some Keeley bats, Keele. There's another wicket. We've got Chapman out to Akshar Patel. He bowled a much slower delivery. The ball's well floated up. And he's going to play a ball that's gone straight down the throat of mid-off on the boundary. Akshar Patel's a very good bowler. Really, I rate him highly. Now Chapman this time didn't get as many runs. But still 2 for 79. Hang on, guys. Okay. So the New Zealand team did well in part. They're just not getting across the line. They do miss Williamson. Remember, don't forget, he's got 85 in the final and still lost. Quite incredible. All Norman's bats look pristine, at least in the middle. That's not even funny, Reg Vernon. It's not even slightly funny. My bats have got red cherries right down the middle of the bat, all over the middle of the bat. T20 is a big thing right now. What rule will you bring and what rule you'll update? Well, I wouldn't change much at all, really. I'd just allow it to flow the way it is. Will it be great? Will it be great? Bring some new WBL rule international. Why? I don't know why you want to do that, Tarun. BBL rules are just more flowery than anything else, and changing for change's sake only leads to more headaches later. So Gupta was out for 31, Chapman for 21, Mitchell at 27, and then comes Phillips. A little bit shaky in the batting order here, but they have scored 80 off their 9 overs. So and now we've got Ravichandra Ashwin back on. He's not taking a wicket yet. The Kahuna, the Kookaburra Kahuna, that's pretty good bat, yeah. Best real change they did in the 100 was that you had to bring a fielder into the circle for a slow over rate. Okay. Bit complicated to follow up, but I guess it's a fair point. I get that. I've gone 1 hour and 50 minutes, guys. I think I'll go to 2 hours and then we'll let the game go out. I don't think I'm going to be up for the whole game. So, will Coley retain his ODI captaincy till 2023? At this stage, yes. I'd say yes. It's worked well. Okay, you mean the ruler from the 100. Okay. Well, could perhaps introduce it like a penalty for doing something wrong there. Okay. If you know in time, though. It came out the front of his hand. India can't win the IC by going into the comfort zone, which is chasing. Okay, no, I can't see why not. It's not comfort zone. That's the way the game went. Winifred joined bottom. Okay. Michelle's still looking pretty strong. She's at 83. Wonderful, it's 9:30. Just like split captaincy, can we split coaching as well? Interesting point, Abhishek. It's an interesting point. I probably don't think it's possible, but it's an interesting point. Okay. All right, guys, we might leave it at that. At this stage, New Zealand are 2 for 40. Sorry, 2 for 84. With Ravi Chandra Asran bowling to, it looks like, well, certainly isn't Nation. Who was it? Who's the person that's out there? Mitchell was probably, no, it wasn't Mitchell. That was actually Phillips, more like him. Being the super sub here, we're going to have a bit of a break with checking the ground. All right, guys, I'm going to talk to you tomorrow. We'll hopefully have a result. It looks to me as if India will win this match. New Zealand are 2 for 84, but after 10, which is quite promising, but we know how well India can chase. All the best, guys. Norman, lend your crystal ball to Colby. Well, at the moment it's full of chocolate milk, so I can't do that at all. Quick of her predict 170 now. Well, it's plausible. If this the way the game goes, then India needs a magician who can win the tosses always. Yeah, that's true. All right, guys. Talk to you tomorrow. Yeah, I think India's will win the 2022. Yeah, fair enough.